A little nippy this morning, a little brisk, and we're trying to accomplish a goal. We've got two vehicles that we need to have road ready. Well, one road ready and one close to road ready next week. So the likelihood of that happening is probably about a 20, 22%. I don't know, 4% maybe. I mean, there's a chance, some kind of chance. This car's been a long time coming. I look back at the first video that we done on this car. Apparently, it's been 3 years. This car's been sitting here waiting on me to actually get to it and do something with it. So, 3 years in the making, and we are very close to firing it up for the first time. Man, I want to say since the 80s sometime was the last time this car was actually on the road. So, yeah, we're close. We're close. We've got a few more things. A couple of other things we've got to address is we're also going to have to go through the braking system on it. I have no idea. I haven't even touched the brake pedal yet, so I have no idea what the brake system feels like. So we're going to go through the brake system. If the starter and fuel pump and stuff like that doesn't come before much longer, I'll go ahead and switch gears and start doing the brakes on it and then come back to this. But I really want to see this thing fire out. Let's see if we can get in here and look and see what this master cylinder looks like. Hold on. Get the camera around there. You'll see it the first time with me when I see it. Let's see how bad this looks. Who's got rusty chunks for 100? Who's got dry and dusty? And who's got, there's actually some fluid in it, looks like it might work. I'm not telling you which one I'm thinking. Well, okay, okay, well, I guess it's a split, because we've got fluid in the front one is full, and in the back, she's dry but wet. Maybe we'll get brakes on this bad boy yet. We're gonna do the absolute wrong thing. We're gonna put fluid in it and see if it pumps up. Okay, so let's look at what we got done now. That carburetor is not staying on here because that carburetor is garbage. That carburetor is on here for mock-up, really. We've got our belt drive system on, one header on. The starter we're waiting on. It's supposed to be coming UPS today. We're waiting on the starter, waiting on the water fill neck and the fuel pump. All is supposed to be coming from our friends at Summit today. It's supposed to be on a UPS truck on its way. I don't know what time it'll be here, but we're waiting on those three things, and then we can start finishing up some other things. We have got the header on this side, all buttoned up, so that's done. All the bell housing bolts, torque converter bolts, motor mount bolts, everything's done. We basically have the cooling system left. Waiting on the thermostat housing, it's on its way. We have the cooling system left and the fuel system and wiring, and we'll be ready to fire this thing off. I interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for a public service announcement. This, I'm gonna tell you what Fox Body guys already know, this bolt right here on your header sucks. That is the end of this public service announcement. I may be the only guy like this, but I had to stop for a minute. I had so many tools out laying on my fender savers that I couldn't function anymore. Every time I reached for something, I was knocking something off. We just had to take a mild break for a second and clean up so we can go back to work. So right now we are at the point where I am literally waiting on a shipment to get here with 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Then of course we'll have to fill it with oil and good break-in oil. I use the Amsoil break-in oil, whatever flavor you prefer, but that's what we use. So we'll have to put some Amsoil break-in oil in it and prime the system, and then it'll be ready to fire. But we're waiting on those other parts to get here. I have not put the passenger side header on yet because I don't want to put it on until after I get the starter on. So engine wise, I'm about as buttoned up as I can get. Everything else is kind of backed up now to that point. So now I think it's to the point where we should do something else. Here we are, the end of the second day of working on this. We pretty much got the engine part buttoned up. That carburetor's not staying. I actually got another carburetor over here on the bench here, disassembled, that I'm going through. It's gonna be on there. That's kind of a mock-up carb. But we gotta do the cooling system. My parts I was waiting on today didn't get here today. It's obviously a UPS problem. They were, according to tracking number, they was processed through the local facility, and they were supposed to be out today, but they never came. So it'll probably be Monday now before those parts get here, but we can move forward to some other things. Like I said, we got all this buttoned up. Motor is mounted, the transmission done, torque converter's bolted in, drivetrain's all done, shift linkage, all that's done. We also went through, worked on the brakes. We've got brakes. We've got a fuel system plumbed up to the factory tank, which looks okay, but you know how that is. So we got all that done. We just need to do the cooling system, which I'll probably come out tomorrow at some point in time and just button that up off camera, because really all that we like is the radiator and the two hoses and the cooling system's buttoned up. So yeah, the car's coming along. We didn't make the progress we wanted to just because we didn't get the parts we needed to. But it's getting there, and it will be ready to fire off before long. As you can see, the thermostat, water neck, radiator, and hoses is still kind of on vacation, and they'll get buttoned up. Also, the solenoid switch that goes on the firewall here for my wiring, that is in the stuff that's coming. So the starter on the shipment is supposed to come today and didn't come. The starter's in there. New water neck is in there. I guess it means I can't button it up tomorrow. The new water neck is in there. Starter's in there. Solenoid switch is in there. And fuel pump is in there. Fuel system is plumbed up to. Just waiting on the new fuel pump. So that's where we're at. I don't know how many of you have been following the story from the beginning. If you go back to, I think it was actually the first YouTube video we ever done, which wasn't a very good video, but me and my daughter went and picked this car up. So my mother, one of the first cars that she ever drove, 67 Mercury Cougar. It did not belong to her. It belonged to some family of hers. And I think it was her brother's car. And my mother has talked about this car ever since. Her car had some electrical issues. This was back mid-70s, I think, give or take. Let's call it mid-70s, close enough. Car had some electrical issues. He got upset with the car and decided he didn't want the car no more. The stories that I've heard is he kind of bashed in the driver's side door a little bit, one of them little mad moments, and we've all kind of been there, you know. But so it had a dent in the driver's side door, and it had some electrical problems, and he just got rid of the car. And she has talked about that car my entire life. So I spent about 30 years tracking this car. Now, I cannot, on paper, definitively prove that this car is the car that she had all those years ago, or that she drove all those years ago. But here's what I'll say. The gentleman I bought this car from bought the car in the late 70s in the next town over from where she was living at that time, or where the car was living at that time, I should say. It was bought the next town over in the late 70s, so could be a coincidence. The driver's side door on this car has been replaced. It is different. You can see behind the door panel that it's a different color door than the rest of the car was. Now here's the kicker that kind of was this has to be it kind of moment for me, is the car they had was green with a vinyl top. This car obviously had a vinyl top and it's been stripped off, and I got some repairs to do around that. But at some point in time, this car here has been painted. Underneath this blue paint, this car was green. I actually, when I done the black on the firewalls the other day, and they were still actually green. They wasn't painted. So this was originally a green car, originally a vinyl top car, and the door has been replaced. It was sold in the next town over, right around the same time frame as the original car was sold. So again, I can't prove on paper that it's the same car. We feel like it's the same car. We feel like it's the same car enough to where me and my daughter spent nearly 6 hours road tripping, all said and done, about 6 hours road tripping to go pick this car up. The guy that bought the car drove it through high school. Then he loaned it to his brother, who drove it through high school. And his brother blew up the original engine. They pulled the engine out and scrapped it, and the car set. So we went and scooped it up. We built that motor for it. That's a pretty good motor. And we're gonna try to bring it back to life. Hopefully in the next few days, this thing will rumble to life. We're just waiting on some parts to get here. And my mom will have the car that she literally talked about my entire life. She will have that car. So we're doing this for her. This is a special project. Anybody that's tried to call the shop or get a hold of us in the last couple of days probably has gotten no response. And it's because we've been putting our time into this. And it's probably gonna be like that till after Thanksgiving. Right up to Thanksgiving, we'll be trying to get this thing together. Then we're gonna spend Thanksgiving with the family, and then I will get back to as many people as I can. But this car right here has been it's been a lot longer than that, but for me, it's been about 30 years worth of chasing and hunting to get to this point. So, cool little piece of history there about the car, and hopefully my mom real soon will have the car back that she remembers from her childhood.